This is just the kind of heavy manufacturing that's said to be under threat right across Britain. It's a company called Halifax+fans here in West Yorkshire. They supply huge fans to industry. They range in costs from anything from £200 to £250,000. There's some top quality welding going on behind that curtain as well, but sadly the light's just gone out, so hopefully he's finished. But this is exactly the kind of firm that you'd expect to have problems with the competition from India, from China. So they've decided to work a bit more smartly, and they've set up a manufacturing operation first of all in India. Now they've got one going in China too. So let's have a bit more of a chat about the thinking behind that. Malcolm Staff is Managing Director. Hi Malcolm.
Hi.
So why did you go down that route then? What's the appeal for you?
Well, the key thing for us to start up a manufacturing business in China and also in India was that about 30% of our business is exported to China and India. And in order to minimise the threat of indigenous suppliers actually manufacturing and designing fans themselves to our quality and taking that type of business, we decided we had to manufacture, design and sell out there ourselves. So that was the key driver for us.
Does that mean though that there are going to be job losses here? It must threaten jobs to the workforce here, I would have thought.
No, because what we're going to do is set up the businesses over there just purely to support, purely to manufacture for the Chinese and for the Indian market. Back here, we'll carry on manufacturing for the European, the UK market, which is the bulk of our market anyway. And by having the business in China and India, it'll allow us to hopefully make a lot more profit, which will allow us to invest in more R&D and come up with much, much cleverer fan designs.
Now here you are, and if you don't mind me saying, you're a traditional West Yorkshire manufacturing company, and yet you've got operations in China and India. How difficult has it been to do that? What would have been the hard parts?
Well, it's been very hard, really, and a lot of fun. When we first went over to India, I think we learnt an awful lot there. We started that one up about 2 years ago, and that was a joint venture with our Indian partner there. From what we learnt there, and then when we started to go into China, we decided we weren't going to set up a joint venture. Various reasons for that, but I think it's the best thing to do. If you can in China, set up your wholly owned business. But one of the key things that we decided to do was invest in employing a Chinese speaker and a Chinese national. And that's one of the reasons we employed Tony Tang, who's with us today.
I'm glad you mentioned Tony, because here she is. And Tony, just explain to me how come you're working for the company. How did you end up here then?
I came to this country 4 years ago, and it was very hard for me to find a job because I hadn't got any experience working in UK, although I had something like 10 years working in Unilever in China. But I was looking for a job very hardly, and suddenly I got some leaflet from Halifax+fan. They're looking for somebody who speaks and also with various experience, and here I come.
And what's it been like? What have you been able to bring to the company, do you think? What do you give them being here?
I think apart from the normal administration and IT skill, the big thing about I think I have this language advantage. So I sort of build a bridge between English and Chinese. So I can introduce different culture and sometimes different understanding for things.
And Malcolm, how difficult, I mean, I was going to say how difficult, how good is it for you, how useful is it for you when you're in a discussion with Chinese people to have someone like Tony alongside?
Extremely useful. There's massive cultural differences between us in the UK and in China. To think of sitting in a meeting and not really understanding at all the body language or the discussion that's going on between our Chinese colleagues, having Tony there to help us decipher what's going on has been an amazing help. I mean, I think two of the key things that she's given us is the importance to the Chinese people of saving their face and also the importance of developing a relationship with Chinese people before you even bother to discuss business. It is vital, really, to taking it further.
So what kind of things would you tell other companies thinking of doing this sort of thing to look out for? What are the pitfalls that they should be wary of?
I think some of the pitfalls is to rush in too quickly and to make agreements with maybe your new business partner or with the local government there without really identifying what real benefits you can have from dealing with the government, because there's some very good deals to be had. And be very careful about your intellectual property. I know people say that all the time, but there's ways to control it and there's ways to protect it, and that's the key thing to watch out for, I think.
And what about the cost of setting up an operation like that? Is it an expensive business?
It's very easy for the cost to really get carried away. The local government people there will try to encourage you to put in as much as possible, millions of US dollars. But one of the benefits of getting to know the government, the local government that is, and really understanding them and them getting to understand you, is you can really get a lot of good breaks from them. For instance, we managed to get some land rent-free for a period of 2 years. We managed to get tax-free for a couple of years and then 50% for a couple of years after that. So the benefit of really socialising, mixing with that government or the local government people was to get these wonderful benefits, and therefore we really minimised our financial risk when we moved forward and wanted to go ahead.
Tony, I know you've been trying to teach some of the management team here Mandarin. How's that going?
I think Malcolm is a very clever person to learn Chinese. Now he can say quite a few words now. Hello, how do you do, and so on.
Well then, Malcolm, let's try that. Can say something.
Well, I'll do my ni hao, which is hello, and she she, which is goodbye. I find that if I say too many more words, the words and the meanings can get very confused with the accent or the tone of your voice, and you can end up saying something very embarrassing and saying something very polite. So I'll stop there.
Difficult language, isn't it? She she, thank you.
She she is thank you. So